The NVIDIA RTX 40 series from NVIDIA, which will be arriving imminently in mid-October with the RTX 4090 at $1,600, will not only make your entire computer blow up, it'll also set your house on fire, kick your dog, have your wife doing all sorts of unsavory activities on football Sunday, and then to top it all off, on Christmas Day, they'll come over to your house and fuck your sister. That's what the tech press wants you to believe as they continue to vilify NVIDIA, and with the latest claims now saying that the adapter for the Founders Edition 40 series graphics cards are going to melt and break after 30 connections, which has now been empirically proven to be incorrect, and people talking about it were literally just chasing headlines from little snippets of information from a report from Zotac saying that it was only safe up to 30 connections. We'll get into all the details, but the real tech people have entered the room and sort of put these concerns at rest regarding the power supply requirements and the adapters and everything for the RTX 40 series, so rest easy, friends. Also, we've got some more Sony exclusives making their way over to PC thanks to a couple of leaks around Sackboy, A Big Adventure, as well as Returnal getting a new leak, which had been leaked a while ago during one of the biggest leaks that we had seen for like a big info dump for like actually stuff that was going to NVIDIA GeForce Now, I believe it was, and it just had a whole list of games for that service, which would essentially mean they were PC versions of those games, even games that weren't announced yet for the PC, even going back to things like God of War and Spider-Man, which are now, of course, on PC. So, yeah, Returnal was kind of mixed in with that, and we've got some leaked screenshots of the graphics option, so hopefully we'll be hearing about it very, very soon. But without further ado, let's get right into the news. But first, today's video is brought to you by Keysfan.com and their software super deal where you can get some of the best prices out there on Microsoft software. Especially with my coupon code, you can get half off of Windows keys as well as 62% off on Microsoft Office products like Windows 10 Pro, Windows 11 Pro, and Office 2019 Professional Plus and Office 2021 Professional Plus, and they've also got a bundle with Windows 10 Pro and Office 2019 in the same package. To save money on Windows 10 Pro, just go ahead and add the key to your cart, which starts off at $15.17. But once you get into your cart, you can go ahead and apply my discount code at checkout YTB50, and that will give you a shocking 50% off, bringing the price down to just over $7 at $7.58. And when you proceed to checkout, you can pay with either a credit card or PayPal, whichever one happens to fit your needs. And this also applies to Microsoft Office products, but again, you're going to get 62% off on Office products with the code YTB62 at checkout. Applying that to the $67.40 price, Office 2019 brings the price down to a stunning $25.61. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you need your software keys, head over to keysfan.com right now and be sure to use those coupon codes at checkout. YTB50 on Windows products for half off, and YTB62 for 62% off on Microsoft Office products. So first up, let's start with the RTX 40 series of graphics cards. Now, last week it was reported that the adapters required for the 12-volt power connector on the Founders Edition cards, and it will be very similar to the ones used on other graphics cards, which has 4 connectors, mind you. Some will be 3, some will be 4, but, you know, probably looking at 4 for most of the 4090 cards if they're looking to really push them to the max, and also add an additional redundancy to a point of failure, like an adapter, which was addressed in a lengthy interview over on the eTechnics YouTube channel. I will leave a link down in the one-tab link down in the description below for all the sources. We'll have a link to this interview as well, which was done with Johnny Guru. So if you're not familiar, Johnny Guru basically does power supplies and has done them for decades. Pretty much like the premier power supply reviewer and tester in the industry, like I said, for decades. And his company also works directly with companies like Corsair on designing their products and sort of giving their like seal of approval. Having his seal of approval on a power supply is almost like having the name Madden on the side of a football video game, even though that's obviously come to not mean too much nowadays. Back in the day when the Madden games first came out, it was a big deal having Madden's seal of approval on them, and Johnny Guru is basically the Madden of power supplies. So Maybe not the best example with all of the contention around Madden nowadays, but I digress. But yeah, so he basically put this all to rest, talking about the power supply cables, how they would only have 30 connections where they would break, which most people, that's not going to be a big deal anyway, because you're just going to plug in a graphics card into your system, and you're just going to leave it there until you decide to upgrade it. So really not a big deal for most consumers. Of course, for reviewers, that could be an issue, but we could just get more adapters anyway, or you could just leave the fucking adapter in. Not really a big deal. The other big part of it was that it was going to melt, or that because it was so sensitive that from being bent or twisted, that the cable would get damaged because there was so much heat going through these cables, and all sorts of other concerns that would cause your power supply to blow up or damage your graphics card or your entire PC. PCs setting on fire, burning down houses, ruining dreams. It's not going to happen, folks. These things have been tested to the nth degree. Do you really think NVIDIA is going to release a product with an adapter as the thing that's going to kill the entire lineup? No, these things have been being tested for months, along with Johnny Guru, who talks about it here in this video on how those power adapters that were breaking were stressed to the max, running at 55 amps for 10 hours straight, having the cables twisted, wrenched, ranked, zip-tied down to the fucking desk. The most extreme scenario possible that you are most likely never going to put this power cable through. So you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And even with all of that stuff that they were doing, only some cables showed points of failure or degradation in performance. It was not a clear-cut case, and these things were being super duper stress tested to a way that you're probably never going to utilize it. So you don't have anything to worry about with the power adapters. The other concern was that it has these smart pins on it that essentially allows your PC to communicate with the power supply to be able to ramp up power or decrease power, based on power limitations and things along those lines. And that was sort of put to rest as well, as they thought that maybe the power supplies would just keep pumping more and more power because it wouldn't get that communication, which is not exactly the case, as these cables actually aren't just running on 2 8-pin PCI power connectors or even 3, like we saw with the 3090 Ti. They're running with 4. So that is more than sufficient to be able to power even an RTX 4090 overclocked to the max running at 660 watts. It would totally be enough to be able to handle that, but it's not going to be a concern either, because, like I said, the 4 cables that are there for redundancy, because the adapter is a point of potential failure that could happen in very extreme circumstances or abuse by the consumer with the product. So you just don't have anything to worry about. It's going to be absolutely fine. I really recommend going to check out this whole interview. It really is quite insightful on how the testing is done and how this whole sort of thing was just blown out of proportion and just taken by some members of the tech press like Jay's 2 cents and ran with and spread a whole lot of misinformation and got people riled up for nothing, just because it's kind of trendy nowadays to vilify, certain companies and stuff, which is not necessary because they all do enough wrong on their own. We don't need to throw extra shit into the mix without getting all the information straight, folks. So let's get into some more lighthearted topics with some Sony exclusives coming to the PC, namely Sackboy, A Big Adventure, which in an unlisted video, which is now unlisted, was posted publicly to the PlayStation Latin America YouTube channel, and this video is still available to watch. It'll be along in that one-tab link. It's just unlisted now, so unless you have a link to get to it, like the one I'm going to leave, you wouldn't be able to find it normally. But the cat's pretty much out of the bag at this point, folks. We're getting Sackboy: A Big Adventure on PC, which released on the PS5. I believe it was a launch title. Along with the PS5, I played this game. I've enjoyed the Little Big Planet games in the past. This was a bit of definitely a different direction for the games, having it be 3D and not an emphasis on like the level creator and stuff like that, which I was disappointed that there wasn't a level creator in this, as that was one way that they really extended the life of the Little Big Planet games, was from the community levels that were made. But Sackboy was still a great time playing in co-op with a buddy, and it's coming to the PC. They mentioned in there that it's going to have 4K, 120Hz support, ultra-wide, DLSS, all of that good stuff. So definitely looking forward to hearing it come to the PC, and the rumor is that it's actually going to be coming on October 27th, so we might be seeing an announcement for this very, very soon, if not maybe even later today. Last up, before we get out of here, another Sony exclusive. This was not officially revealed or put on any official channels, but it was leaked with the PC graphics options in a video showing off all of the settings. The video has since been taken down, but we do still have screenshots for what appears to definitely be Returnal coming to the PC, and this is another PS5 exclusive, one that I played, and I had a great time with it. And I still have not finished the entire thing because I just had a few frustrating runs and I just kind of haven't gone back to it, honestly, to sort of play through the whole thing, because you have to play through the whole thing in one go. It's pretty much how it goes. I mean, there is like a save sort of system now, but it's still very challenging and a very risky game to play if you don't have a lot of time to really sit down and dive into it. So, like I said, the graphic settings were posted online, and we could see in here we've got things like VSync, max frames per second, which seems you can go to infinity, so you can uncap it. It does show DLSS support as well as FSR, but it is believed that this is going to be FSR 1.0, but you'll be able to mod in 2.0 or 2.1 if you want to. We also have a DLSS sharpness slider. For shadow and lighting, we've got shadow quality, ray trace shadows, reflection quality, and it also shows ray traced reflections here. And this is just one screen grab from the video. It does look like you could scroll down further, so I'm sure there's going to be more than just 3 or 4 different quality settings down here. It looks like we're going to have probably a good another 10 or so. So hopefully we do hear more about Returnal coming to the PC soon, as I'm sure a lot of the Souls-like type of community would really like this, even though it's not sword combat, it's roguelike, not Souls-like. I shouldn't have said Souls-like, roguelike type of game. So bullet hell, roguelike. It's a lot of fun. Not a game I expected to like. Usually not up my alley with the whole roguelike sort of stuff with the permadeath system. But I actually enjoyed Returnal quite a bit. And I did a video about it back when it came out. You should go back and check that out. And how I kind of talk about how I came to like Returnal quite a bit, even though I didn't think I was going to. And definitely one I think most people on PC are going to want to play once it does become available. Always awesome to see more of these Sony titles coming over to PC. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on everything we discussed here today with the power supply cables and everything like that, melting your PCs and blowing up your house, fucking your wife. Oh my God, the horrors. The horrors, folks. The horrors. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.